morning. It's Friday, March 3rd, and today I want to talk about one of the great rip-offs of the American people, which seems to be coming to an end. And I'm talking about the cost of insulin. Now, insulin is a drug that is really very important to the people in this country because diabetes is a disease that is on the rise. Diabetes is one of the leading diseases in this country that seems to be proliferating throughout the land. And Eli Lilly, a major manufacturer of insulin, which is one of the primary drugs used to treat diabetes, has reduced the price to $35 per month. Not $35 a shot, but $35 per month. And that's a big cut because many people were paying as much as $300 or $400 a month for the insulin. But Eli Lilly has seen fit to lower the cost to $35 a month. And you know how much insulin costs to manufacture? It costs about $10 to gain the $35. Now let's keep in mind that running a drug industry is not a cheap proposition. You have a lot of expensive personnel working on this stuff. And so it's very difficult to say that Eli Lilly was necessarily ripping the customers off. But I could say that probably with impunity. But now they have come to their senses and they're charging a reasonable price. Now we must recognize that the cost of creating a drug is not a simple matter, and it can take years before the thing is finally and fully developed. And there have been many cases of drug overpricing. In fact, there was a case that sent a young man to prison many years ago when he inherited a company that was charging some ridiculously low price for a drug that was needed. And he raised the price to something like thousands of dollars per month. And he got away with it for a while, but then they discovered that he was doing some other evil things, and the guy ended up in prison. And don't ask me what his name was or anything like that, because I don't remember it. And I'm not about to do the research this morning. Now, Joe Biden, the president, said this announcement is a big deal. But let me tell you, there's a hook in this deal. The $35 a month is for people who are uninsured. They're not saying what your insurance is paying if you have insurance. Now, I have great insurance. I don't pay much for my medications. Most of my medications, when I pick them up at Walmart, are zero cost. But I don't know what the insurance company is paying for my drugs or my wife's drugs. So when they talk about $35 a month, they're talking about people who are uninsured. So it's quite possible that Eli Lilly is still getting a lot of money from the insurance companies, but not from the individuals who have no insurance. Biden also went on to say that for far too long, American families have been crushed by drug costs, many times higher than what people in other countries are charged for the same prescriptions. And insulin costs $10 to make, but Americans are sometimes forced to pay over $300 for it. And that's flat wrong. And let's give Biden a lot of credit for saying those things. That's very important to hear. And the president also urged other pharmaceutical companies to cut insulin prices. That's terrific. I am glad that Biden has stepped to the plate and taken on the drug manufacturers. He also said, last year, I signed a law to cap insulin at $35 for seniors. And I called on pharma companies to bring the prices down for everyone on their own. And so what Eli Lilly did today is a big deal. And it's time for other manufacturers to follow. But this is a free country. And we recognize that that is a problem in many cases because you cannot force people to do what they don't want to do. And the manufacturers of drugs have a drug that's making them money. And that money is used to develop other drugs that are not making them money. So it's a very tricky proposition when you ask a company to cut the prices, right? It's almost in a certain way unfair to the business. But when you look at the cost of drugs around the world and the cost that we are paying for drugs, we know that something is wrong. I am willing to bet you that if you do a thorough investigation, you will find that Eli Lilly's drug in some other country is costing less than $35. And the same for many other drug manufacturers. Their drugs are making a lot more profit from U.S. sales than they are for sales around the world. You can bet on that. Eli Lilly also said it will cut the list price of its non-branded insulin to $25 a vial as of May 1st. Making it the lowest list price mealtime insulin available. Its current list price is $82.41 for a vial. Now, how the hell can they cut it from $82 down to $25? That just gives you an idea of how huge this drug price ripoff really is. That Eli Lilly can afford to take the price down by $57. That just tells you how big this ripoff was, when the cost of insulin to make is only $10. Think about that. And here's a stat that'll blow your mind. The cost of insulin has increased by 54% in the last 2 or 3 years, but the population of people who have diabetes has doubled in the last 20 years. So diabetes is a killer, and insulin is a lifesaver, and you might think that Eli Lilly is making tons of profit from insulin. But that's not the case. Insulin only accounts for about 11% of Eli Lilly's sales. So they are making a ton of money on a lot of other drugs. But insulin is a very visible drug because of the size of the diabetic population in this country. And so let's not feel sorry for Eli Lilly. And on the other hand, let's not feel that the people in this country got a great deal because Eli Lilly lowered the price. Because they were ripping off the country for many, many years. So it's good that the price went down, but it's not such a great big deal. And we have to work much harder to keep these drug companies in line and to help our population. And maybe we'll get universal health care someday. Although I doubt that because there are still an awful lot of people who are against that. So I'll leave you with that this morning. Have a great day. Bye.